Most thoracic outlet syndrome patients have no idea where their pain is coming from. And the reason why is because no one's actually testing the muscles that's causing your pain. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the exact framework I use with hundreds of clients to help them pinpoint exactly where their pain is coming from so they can actually fix it. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to do the same. So the very first thing you need to understand is actually the pattern for these different tests. Because when it comes to thoracic outlet syndrome tests, you're either going to go and get some MRIs or nerve conduction tests, which aren't going to be any helpful at basically, or you're going to be doing some kind of movement assessments, which is probably the better option here. And the reason why is because when you do these movement assessments, we're testing 1 to 2 different things, which is going to tell us exactly where your pain is coming from. We're testing if a muscle is getting compressed or stretched, irritates your pain, recreates it basically. And that right there is going to be how we determine where your pain is located. So you see, when it comes to nerve pain, right, your thoracic outlet syndrome, 9 times out of 10 is going to happen whenever you are using your body in one way or another, or you're performing a certain type of movement. And the reason why is because certain types of movements contract different muscles. And if these muscles are being overused and things like that, then they can easily compress on the nerves and blood vessels when they're being used. This is why your MRIs always come back inconclusive, your x-rays and things like that, because they're putting you in a position that's not creating compression on your nerves and blood vessels. Your pain happens during the day, not when you're in a static position, basically. And because of that, they don't get to see the compression. But this is actually where we can take advantage of this, right? Because if certain movements recreate your pain, then all we need to do is isolate those movements into either a compressed or a stretch state. And by doing that, and if that recreates your pain, that will be our confirmation for where your pain is coming from. So how do we actually do this, right? Well, the first thing we need to do is actually map out the nervous system real quick. And this is actually really easy, especially when it comes to thoracic outlet syndrome. Now, this is actually really easy to figure out, right? First off, your nervous system, the spine, that's where everything originates and starts. And you can think of it kind of as the higher up the spine it is, the more likely it is going to affect the higher portion of the body. And as you go down the spine, it starts to hit the different areas of the body to the point where the bottom spine is what controls the legs, the top controls the head, the middle controls the middle, right? That's kind of how you can easily map it out. Now, when it comes to TOS specifically, right, we don't need to know the exact location of the nerve. We just need to know about the different muscles and where they're located that surround that nerve. So again, it starts in the spine, it comes out of the neck. So we have the scalenes and we have the chest because it goes into the chest, goes into the shoulder and then down the arm and into the fingers. Very easy, right? So we basically can map it from the neck, chest, shoulders, arms, and forearms and hands, right? These are all the muscles that can possibly be affected for that nerve. So now that we know the kind of where the nervous system goes, we look at the muscles that are near it, the scalenes, the pec, the shoulders, the biceps, forearms, even the wrist and hand. But now that we have all these different muscles, we can now isolate each one and perform 2 different tests on it. We can try to compress the muscle, or we can try to stretch it to see if that recreates our pain. So let me give you an example. Starting off at the scalenes, what we're going to do here is simply tilt our head to the opposite side that you have pain. So if I have pain in my left hand, then I'm going to be tilting my head to the right, which is going to stretch out the scalenes on the left side. Again, we're stretching the scalenes to see if that compresses on the nerves and blood vessels and recreates my pain. Now, what does this look like? This is an actual test called the scalene nerve entrapment test. And again, we're just trying to see if these muscles are so chronically short and tight that when you try to stretch it a normal range of motion, that's what creates your pain, and that's what is creating your pain. So if you stretch the muscle out and hold it there for about 30 seconds to a minute, and if that recreates your pain, that's a positive sign, not a conclusive, right? Not a confirmation, but it's a positive sign that your scalenes could be creating that compression and creating pain. Now, I said there's 2 tests we can do here. So the second one we can do is a compression test, where we're basically now squeezing the muscle in order to once again see if that recreates our pain. In order to do this, all I got to do is drop my chin and look into my armpit here and hold it there for 30 seconds to a minute. And again, if doing this recreates my pain, that is once again a positive sign that the scalenes on my left side is the issue. So 1, I'm stretching. 2, I'm compressing. You see how that kind of works now? Let's go to a different muscle. Let's try the chest, right? The pec minor, another notorious muscle for thoracic outlet syndrome. The first test we can do that we do all the time is a right abduction test. All we're going to do is place our arm up over our head, which is going to stretch that pec minor out. And again, if it doesn't have the ability to stretch because it's too tight, then it will compress on your nerves and blood vessels, recreating your pain, giving you a positive test. Now, what's the flip side of this, right? We can compress the muscle, we can tighten the muscle. And this is kind of where we get a little foggy when it comes to clinical tests, we'll say, because there is no actual clinical test to compress the pec minor, not that I'm aware of at least. So we're kind of just making this up as we go, but we're still following the same principles as every other nerve test out there that is clinical. We're just kind of doing it on ourselves now with the muscles that we want to target, as opposed to the ones that they clinically targeted and chose specifically. So same principles, same idea, but now we're kind of a little bit in the gray area because these aren't clinical, right? So if you want to compress or tighten or squeeze your pec minor, reach forward and just kind of reach as far as you can, as if you're trying to pull your scapula away from your spine. So instead of just coming here, I'm now going to reach just a little more and even pull my arm in a bit, and I'll feel my pec minor, even the pec major, contract. So by doing this, and again, holding this for about 30 to 60 seconds, if this recreates your pain, that could be a positive sign for the pec minor being contracted and tight and being the reason for your pain. So you see how this is beginning to work, right? You stretch the muscle, you compress it, and if either one creates your pain, that's going to be a positive sign. If both of them recreate your pain, consider that a double whammy, right? Almost a double extra positive side. But here we'll work on just one more muscle just to make sure you get it. And we'll work on one muscle that most people don't even realize creates TOS. And that is your deep coracobrachialis. This is essentially a shoulder muscle that brings the arm up every time it contracts. So you can imagine every time you bring your arm up to type, drive, do whatever the hell you want, this muscle is contracting every single day. And as a result, it can compress on your nerves and blood vessels. So just like every other test for here, we're going to stretch it and then we're going to compress it. We're going to tighten it. And the first one we're going to do is a simple stretch because it is located in the front and it performs shoulder flexion. That's how the muscle contracts. We're going to be doing shoulder extension in order to stretch it. So all you have to do is simply take your arm, keep your thumb pointing up, and reach straight back to the point now where your thumb is pointing down. The idea here is we're just simply putting this muscle onto a stretch and holding it there for 30 to 60 seconds because again, if it is short and tight, it will compress on the nerves and blood vessels behind it because it doesn't have enough room to stretch. Now, the opposite of this is the tie-in test, the compression test. And to do this, take the lightest band that you have and simply perform shoulder flexion and hold it there again for 30 to 60 seconds. We don't want a heavy band because now we're going to be recruiting every other muscle in there. We want the lightest band possible to recreate typing and driving, but we're trying to recreate this for hours on end by holding a little bit of resistance essentially. So you can essentially just keep your arms out like this all day, every day. And if that recreates your pain, great, but that might take a while. That's why we use the actual band to kind of speed up the fatigue process. So now that you have the idea, right, go and test the other different muscles, test the biceps, test the triceps, the forearms and the wrist, right, your little phalanx test and all that kind of stuff. And wherever you have compression, you have those positive tests. Those are the muscles that you're going to want to self-massage first in order to loosen them up now and allow those nerves and blood vessels to pass through. Just think about it, right? If it's too short and tight to stretch out, or if it's easily getting compressed, which means it's already compressed to a point where a little more just makes it worse, then what that tells you is that you need to loosen these muscles. You need to massage them. You need to stretch them out and lengthen them because they are stuck next to each other, on top of each other, and they're not allowing that movement. So massage out all the different muscles for about 30 seconds to 3 minutes for every single muscle. And then from there, go and do those retests to see if you still have that pain. And of course, let me know in the comment section how it goes. This is your simple framework for performing pretty much any type of nerve test. You first have to map out the muscles. You then have to test the muscles out, and then you release them. Very easy and very simple. Now, if you want to learn more frameworks just like this to fix your own shit and things like that, then make sure to join my brand new community. The link for that is in the description below. Or if you want to learn more tests for thoracic Allus syndrome specifically, then make sure to click on the video popping up.